on here. Cool. And other people might join us over the next few minutes, and that's totally cool. We will just do a bit of a welcome round and a check-in, and just, what's one thing on your plate right now? And we might go from the bottom upwards. So we might start with Alice. How are you down there? What's on your plate at the moment?
Today's teacher only day, so I'm working from home.
Lucky you. Yeah.
I am this morning have been busy with C Week, so I'm trying to pick up the baton there and run with hosting C Week across Timaru. When I say hosting, I mean just being the sort of the lead organizer, and they host their events, and I advertise it as one big collaboration. So I found $2,000 sponsorship for marketing.
Oh,
so
nice.
I have now got a month to pull this together before I go on leave for a month with my children. But yeah, really excited. It's cool.
Awesome. Cool. Congratulations. That's cool.
Cheers.
All right. I'm going to go back over the ranges and probably actually a little bit further down. Ruth, how are you? What's on your plate?
Kia ora. This morning, mostly recruitment. We are looking for a fabulous, authentic, and fun-loving engagement manager to drive all of our behavior change programs and projects and the community engagement and our consultancy services. So an awesome job for an awesome person.
Wow.
And they lead our engagement and consultancy team. So you'll see us all over Facebook and LinkedIn. I am sure you will see that. So please share that job. It's a good opportunity for somebody to join our senior leadership team.
Awesome. Very cool job by the sounds of things. Do you get many applicants outside Wanaka?
So our last program manager actually came down from Wellington. Which was good. Before that, for the senior leadership team, it was just up the road, Cardrona. They came from the Cardrona team and just said, I wasn't looking for a job, but this was it. We were looking for a unicorn, and along he came. So yeah, I think people do come. Certainly from our board, they've come from outside of the district and have landed in Wanaka. Maybe they're new here. So yeah, we're definitely open if anybody wants to move into our beautiful area.
And you supply them with a house, I heard.
Oh yeah, of course. We make it from the stuff in the yard.
Oh, okay.
We got a good camping section.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Ruth. Julie, how are you? What's on your plate?
I'm really good, and I'm really relieved that Kat and Ben have joined the call.
Sorry, we just finished on the meeting.
That's right. Actually, you guys can probably talk more to what's happening at WAI Wanaka than me.
Oh, sure. Kia ora, Kat Dillon, and
Kia ora, I'm Ben.
What have we got going on? We've got a big event coming up on the 26th and 27th of this month, the Alpine Lakes Forum. And we have invited, it's in collaboration with Kaitahu, Otago Regional Council and the University of Otago. It's a 2-day event. We've got all the pointy heads of freshwater research, science coming along, as well as our mayor and our council members to speak around the strategies that are hopefully working behind the scenes in council, but also the university to present all the latest research on the lakes. So yeah, we've almost sold out. We've got about 25 tickets left, which is very exciting. So if you're in the region, pop in and see us. It'll be a pretty exciting couple of days. What else have we got on? Sorry, on the spot.
That's all right. Yeah.
You working?
Yeah. So we've been working in collaboration with Morpham Environmental on a project up in the Marlborough Sounds with the Marlborough District Council up there, looking at sustainable finance mechanisms. So there's a project group up there, and they are recipients of Jobs for Nature funding, to which is going to be sort of ending halfway through next year. So looking at ways that we can sort of involve industry, council, and landowners and all sorts to sort of look at ways that we can pull some different policy levers and sort of sustainably finance the sort of pro-environmental work that the group is engaging in and have them slightly less reliant on central government funding and some of those swings of the pendulum in that respect. So super exciting piece of work and super relevant to a lot of the other sort of groups such as ourselves that are out there doing amazing mahi and are sort of contingent on some of that government funding as well. So yeah.
Sounds really interesting, Ben. That might have to go on our topics of future called sustainable financing options.
Yeah, happy to talk to that anytime.
Yeah, cool. Sounds really great. Thank you. All right, we'll keep moving up the country. I think Georgie, Wellington.
I've got a mouthful of, oh, hang on.
Oh, I'm sorry. And you're on twice, so you might be a little bit we can go up to Palmy and come back to you if you'd like.
I'm not on twice. Why am I doing that? Oh, I'm definitely on twice.
Right, I've just muted you. You sort yourself out, and Mads, you tell us what's on top for you.
Thanks, George. That was quite the entrance, Georgie. Good. No time to think. What's on top for me? We've planned training for next week. We've got an intro session tonight for our members. It's funded by the City Council for learning some local histories. So we're going out to a local marae and hearing some stories for a whole day next Tuesday, hearing some stories and then visiting 3 sites with a couple of Warren and Virginia Warbrick, who are well-regarded historians, Māori and Pākehā kind of stories, but from a Te Ao Māori lens. So that's pretty exciting. We're taking 30 of our members out, 30 of our staff, board and members out to do that. So, and we've just had our AGM not that long ago, a couple of weeks ago, thanks to George, who came and spoke to us about the climate research and a bit of a preemptive introduction to some of that. So that was really nice to have her come over the hill. And it was a really civil and lovely time. I'm not crying this year. And we have a new constitution. So that's good news.
That's awesome. Mads, I would love to hear more about that trip. That was so it's council funded, and are they funding more people than just your 30? Like, are they taking other people and 30?
Oh no, so I coordinated it. So I just asked for, they've got a training fund, and which is available to sector leads. So I said, look, we want to do this training for our sector, and the reason there's 30 is because that's how big the capacity is for the the group that Warren and Virginia can take. So it's a full tour, basically. And we just asked for money, and then anyone could do this if they pay the money. So Warren and Virginia offer this relatively regularly. That's $250 per person normally. So it's stuff that our membership can't normally afford. So we've managed to make that happen, which is exciting, and it kind of follows on from some of the Te Tiriti learning and some of the stuff that we've been doing in our Te Tiriti subcommittee, kind of talking about how we build relationships, but also just how we know who will know about the place that we live and work in, start to make connections to that and upskill and ourselves.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I might get Anna to get in touch with Renee and just if we could write up all of that. I think it'd just be something cool to share in the network.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, we might go back down to Wellington.
Good luck, Georgie.
Thanks. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix has left the building. Sorry about that. I was on twice. That's what happens when you transition from your mobile phone to your desktop. Sorry.
Oh, good.
I'm not over 50. Okay, I am over 50. Lots on my plate. Terra Zero Waste, we're sort of beginning our renegotiation with Wellington City Council on what the next tranche of funding looks like. That's for our resource recovery centre right here in the middle of the city. And WCC are needing to establish 2 more before the end of this current financial year. So we're just talking to them about what it means to establish an ecosystem of resource recovery centres in a city like Wellington. And they are being a little bit tricky because they're saying, oh, no, we can't talk to you because of procurement. So I'm having some very frustrating conversations with them about what procurement actually is and when you can't talk to people that maybe in the mix and when you can. It's really frustrating to have to school your partner. Anyway, I'll leave that there. Curtin Bank, like the other Curtin Banks around the Motu, we lost our Genesis sponsorship, which runs out at the end of this calendar year. So we're looking for a significant corporate sponsor in a time where no corporates want to sponsor anything. So that's also pretty tricky. So if anybody's got any great funding ideas for Curtin Bank, I know that Christchurch and Auckland are also in the same boat. So we're in the midst of that. On a positive note, Toast Electric continues to just leaps and bounds go ahead and do all sorts of things. You cut your fringe. Oh, that's nice. Yes, I'm growing my hair long. Thank you, whoever said that. Yes, Toast Electric's got about 2,400 customers. Just a reminder, we are operating in mid-Canterbury, South Canterbury, up Horowhenua, up to far north, not quite in PE North just yet, I think, Mads, but on your perimeter. If anybody knows, anybody wants to join Toast, there's no reason not to.
The only not-for-profit
electricity retailer in the country.
He does great work. Yeah.
Kia ora.
Actually, yeah, Georgie, we should I might get Anna to do a bit of a spin on that as well, because we're always looking for stuff. So it was South Canterbury up to like Horowhenua.
So no, it's not South Canterbury all the way up. So we're South Canterbury, Christchurch, Wellington, and then as far north as I think it's I'll get Phil to get you the details. I don't want to say anything.
Shannon, you can get to Shannon.
Shannon, that's right, Shannon. Thank you. Come and work for us, Matt.
Just tell her to come all the way up to Palmy, Mads.
Yeah,
do that.
Cool. Thanks, Georgie. Let's share that. Cool. Going up, so we've done Palmy. I think Tongariro. Yeah, let's go with you, Kerry.
Kia ora, everyone. Thought I was on mute, but I wasn't. It's been a busy weekend for us with the wildfire in Tongariro National Park. This morning, just been dealing with some media who are wanting to be in contact and wanting to know about the ecology, how that's going to be affected, and things like that. So we're obviously devastated that that region's not going to look the same again for another 100 years or so. It was quite special subalpine environment, quite woody, sort of natural turpentine. So it was just a big combustion, really. Even though we'd had previously to that 8 weeks of rain, everyone was sort of surprised that it went up like that. But unfortunately, that's that landscape's quite vulnerable to fire. So yeah, that's been quite sad. But yes, we are getting ready for our AGM coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And we finished all our planting now. So we're thinking that would calm things down a bit, but it hasn't. It's still been very busy. And today I've got Naomi from my Kids Greening Topal team and a governance board member, Sarah Carter, joining us to hear about this upcoming session, which I'm really excited to hear about. So yeah, that's us.
Thanks, Kerry. Naomi, would you like to share anything? And Sarah? You don't have to if you just want to. No, you're all good. That's fine. We'll keep moving up the country. Who have I got? I think Sam, of course, going over that way. How are you?
Hello everyone, yes, going good, all busy here, and I guess the most relevant for us at the moment, we're very busy in the waste space right now. That's probably our biggest of our 3 main areas, and the Rinsery, our wash station, is starting to kick on. So thank you to Georgie, Ali and the team for sending up a whole bunch of bowls. Ours are on a plane or something from Belgium at the moment, so they'll be here very shortly, but yeah, we've got a big event, Toitu Te Reo. It's a big conference to celebrate Te Reo Māori and how you revitalise it, and all of their food trucks and drink stalls will be using reusables, which is really neat. So that's the first time we will have used food at an event which is a really good opportunity. There'll be thousands of people there, and a lot of our councillors and MPs will be there too. So that's really neat. Also went well at the triathlon. There was a women's triathlon here a couple of weeks back, and I think we kept 98.5% of the cups that we gave out came back, which was a really neat return rate. We weren't sure how it would go, and it's a good model that we can now start using with the marathons, iron multi triathlons, and things like that. So that's really neat. All settled into our new place now, which is cool, and had a few car parking issues. It's a bit of a shambles out there, but the community now knows how to park properly and not on yellow lines and things. That was a few weeks of educating people how to actually drive. So that's good, but all settled in now, which is good.
I love that you sent some bowls up, Georgie. What a cool little community we've got. Here's some bowls. Cool. That's really awesome. Nice to hear that you settled into a new place as well, Sam. That's really cool. All right, Auckland, Teresa, how are you? What's on your plate?
Sorry, some problems unmuting, but kia ora. Lots going on. So yeah, really busy as per everyone. Been getting through we did our AGM. Obviously, it's sort of the season of AGMs, so been going out to lots of AGMs as well, and our local board inauguration meetings to see them formally elected in and who's getting their positions. We're still waiting to see who our liaison is, so we'll see who we'll be working with. I suppose top of mind to pick one thing is our second site over at Hobsonville Point at Engine Testing Bay. So we used to have a native plant nursery there, which was there for about 10 years and got closed down last year, but we've got our community teaching garden there, food forest, and community compost hub. So we've been engaged in a sort of community co-design process, which has been very interesting, but yeah, we've had a lot of engagement. So we had a big sort of relaunch this weekend, and it was a really good turnout, and we had the local MP and local board there. So we're sort of quite focused on where that's going to go and working with the community to design what we do there, and working in with Auckland Council, because I think they've got a bit of a project at the moment to pilot sort of food forests. So yeah, trying to connect in with that. So that's sort of been a big focus of mine at the moment.
Awesome. Oh, sounds good. And really looking forward to seeing you in like a week and a half. So that'll be really exciting. Yeah. Mike, over on the island.
Hi everybody. Yeah, over on the island. We've got lots going on with this, I guess. Personally, we've got the solar and batteries just finishing up this week with the car charger. So a whole suite of things happening here for our building. But really, we've just finished our Electrify WAI charter, which has been really cool. It's kind of rewiring for WAI, so we're looking at a lot of cool options. But the charter at least insulates us into acting together in consensus, and sets up kind of like a framework for people to know what decisions are made by whom and how it was forward. It was really integral, and that just puts everyone on the same page. And we're excited about that moving forward. That's about it.
Gosh, I know you've got tons going on, so thanks for the succinct. But I do love that being an island, you can have all of those groups working together, making those agreements. It's really cool. We just have a late entry by Daniel, so I might just check in with how he's doing, and then we will flick to WAI Wanaka to start us off with our cool topic today. To see if Daniel comes in, we'll say hi to him. Kia ora, Daniel and Sterling. Lovely to see you. You have arrived just in time to say hi and to tell us what's on your plate, and then we're going to kick off into our topic. So the floor is yours.
That's perfect, because we're saying, I hope that we get in just like as we're finishing the round the room part.
Perfect timing. How are you guys?
Good. Yeah. What have we got on our plate?
Oh, like right in the moment, we've got the team heading off to a school to do a little bit of an advocacy push for the bottle drive. So it's along with the support of the Zero Waste Aotearoa network. So we're doing a little bit of a stint, and we're having the MP for our area coming along and just really going to be able to gift back 20 cents per bottle to the school and get some really good content for it.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
What else do we have? We have lots of stuff going on, lots of business as usual. Oh no, I feel like I'm gonna run out of battery.
Okay, lovely to have you guys on. I think we will, there was definitely something I was going to ask you, but that's right, I'll keep thinking about it and maybe I'll share it in the chat if I can think about what that was. Okay, Julie and Kat, who is kicking us off? And sorry, Kat, yeah, I just put you on mute before. Oh, Joe, oh my goodness. It doesn't all finish with Auckland.
It does finish at Auckland, doesn't it?
It does
We're going to
not
put in
finish at Auckland.
our request to segue away from the rest of New Zealand soon.
I apologize. How are things up there? You look very sunny.
Yeah, no, it's super hot up here, really humid. Summer has apparently kicked off with, unfortunately further down the line, a fire. But yeah, you can really feel the change. We're certainly feeling the effects up here. It's official. The bees have moved further down the country. It's 2 degrees is enough to really devastate the bee industry in Northland. So yeah, anyway, that's what's happening around us. We've just got word last week that our building is being sold, but unfortunately both Ano Ano and Eco Centre, to someone who wants to raise the rent by a third. So we're from last week, we're now looking for a new place to rent, and yeah, there's just absolutely nowhere. So we might be coming out of a shed soon.
Oh, Joe, a third. Is that even legal to do
That's
that?
what I keep saying. I keep on saying, I just don't understand how that can be legal. But yeah, so it's quite a horrendous price hike. But yeah, on the good side of things, Kahunuku has just finished its major native planting, and our community fruit tree project, with bar a few people putting in their final fruit trees, yeah, we've got a community fruit tree food forest in Kaitaia, so that's really exciting. So yeah, on the mahi side of things, we're rocking.
Oh, awesome. Oh my goodness, you poor things. And I did not know that about the bees. So the bees literally leave Northland.
Literally anyone. So obviously the native bees, they will adapt.
Yeah.
But because the Kānuka and Mānuka are flowering throughout the year now, it's no longer financially viable for anyone who's selling Kānuka or Mānuka honey to have their industry here. So that's affecting the avocado, because now the avocados don't have enough bees to be, they've got massive tracts of avocados up here, which is another problem. So yeah, it's multiple effects. Finally, people who have been in industry for years and thought I'm an idiot are actually coming and talking.
Wow. Oh, that's so interesting. Gosh, yeah.
It's bizarre,
It's the big picture, isn't it? Yeah. I will just quickly come back to Beautification Trust. It was just what you said about the MP visiting, and it just kind of triggered me thinking the next 12 months are going to be election things. So the more all of you can get your MPs to you so they know about environment hubs, that would be fantastic. And we will be thinking about advocacy and MPs and all of those things. I don't know if it may not be everyone's cup of tea or fun, but yeah, hopefully we can get some good advocacy for all of us and get some funding back to the environment hubs and a change of government. So that would be really nice. Now that we've got that locked in, the change of government, we'll go back to WAI Wanaka and ask you to share a little bit about the impact that you guys are doing down there.
Yeah, I'll kick off. Unlike Joe, I'm in the middle of a storm in Odipodi in a caravan. So George is going to help me out with a few slides and things. And also just on that topic of bees, if anyone hasn't read a book called A World Without Bees, it's a fabulous read to actually understand the importance of bees and why colony collapse and everything else is such a big issue.
Wow.
I just wanted to really start this by saying we're not, WAI Wanaka aren't experts. There's a lot of knowledge in our network about impact and impact reporting. So this is really just our journey and what we have, how we have progressed through the different stages, if you like, of understanding how to communicate the impact of what we're trying to achieve for our community and for Te Taio. So George, have you got those slides I think sent through, or I can probably try.
Ben will probably share as well if that's easier. Ben's got.
Ben. Yeah, you do it, Ben.
Go for it, Ben, because I can't get mine to full page. So if you can do that, that would be great.
Is there are there some sharing protocol?
You can share it directly out of Canva, or just present it out of Canva. It's probably the way to go.
There you go. I'm just going to have to tinker with my settings, I think, by looking.
Yep, you do that, and I'll start talking. So, WAI Wanaka, we got going. Our first project was in 2018, freshwater improvement project, and it really took us a few years to understand that what we had been asked to achieve with that project was really all about outputs. So it was about the number of trees you were planting, the number of people that were coming along to events. So it was all very quantitative reporting. So it was ticking boxes, it was numbers, it was saying, we said we were going to do this thing and we've done this thing, and the job has been done. And so that's really the most basic level of understanding social impact and reporting. And unfortunately, from my perspective, I think the government and government funding often creates those boxes and forces us to think that way, because they do want to be able to tick those boxes and to say, that what has been funded are the things that have been done with the money. I love this slide. I saw this slide for the first time last week at our trustee meeting, so I've stolen it, and I think I'll use it for all our meetings from now on. So you just flick to the next one, Ben. Yeah, so this was the sort of thing. So we had created we decided where we're going to operate, the Upper Clutha catchment, and these were the sort of things that we were reporting. Next slide. We started really moving into understanding more about outcomes rather than outputs. And in 2021, we put together our first impact report. And I remember the process of this for our team in terms of, how do we communicate the impact of what we were doing. And so this was our really first go. It was still very qualitative, because you're looking at qualitative is easy. Qualitative is you can pull numbers together, but we were starting to sort of look at those more quantitative measures, such as, we were working with 60 properties in the catchment as part of Jobs for Nature. So, we were then storytelling around those 60 properties, what we were achieving, the biodiversity monitoring, the water quality measuring that was being undertaken on those properties, and the collaborations that were being formed through the mahi that we were doing, and that we were also obviously doing alongside many other organisations in the catchment, because again, as we all know, environmental is intertwined with everything, and you can't just focus on the environmental. You've got to try and work together. So next slide, Ben. And you can talk to this one probably, Ben, more than me. So as part of our next project, which was Knowledge into Action for Te Taio, we learned about Gladstone Healthy Harbour, which is in Australia. And it's a dashboard that has been developed. I can't remember all the partners, the university there, and the port operator pays for it. and there's a huge number of community groups involved. This was a very degraded harbour, and they basically, there was no trust between the community and the port operators, who had, been a major contributor to the degradation of the harbour. And so the community came together with all of these partners to look at what needed to be measured in order to understand what was changing over time, good or bad. And we loved this. We latched onto this and thought that it was a really, really nice way. And I'll share the links on this. It's really worth having a look at. I think they're in their 10th year now, aren't they, Ben?
Yeah, 10th year. This is sort of the catchment health one that we've developed, and sort of as reference to the Gladstone Healthy Harbour one. So what we wanted to try and do was report on the health of the catchment from a fairly holistic perspective, and try and pull up some of what the key kind of values and sort of environmental indicators of health that the community here in this catchment really wanted to understand. And so, yeah, Julie can share this link here and the other links to the Gladstone Healthy Harbour stuff. But I think what we were really trying to do is to highlight some of these kind of environmental trends and health trends in a way that's engaging for the community, and sort of taking that very highly scientific data and then making it a little bit more understandable and digestible for other people that aren't necessarily scientists. And so I guess the intention of this is to really try and pull out a sense of place for the community, and really starting to understand how people can see themselves in this catchment, and really try and understand where their work, where their interventions and initiatives happen, what kind of effect is that having on the health of this catchment, and really starting to try and track that. And so, yeah, I don't know if you want to speak to this, Julie, but I guess this is our version here at WAI Wanaka is sitting in a pilot at the moment. And so we've worked with the community to develop these indicators. And I guess the next step is to really try and pull in some real-time data from a lot of the environmental work that we do with the community here down in Wanaka and the Upper Clutha. And so at present, this is very much a pilot, in the sense that we pulled a lot of publicly available data sets to really kind of get these data points and these trends. So going forward, we're really keen to explore how we can lift this up to actually incorporate some real-time data, and use sort of different types of technology and things to really try and understand how this might be able to feed in on a regular basis, and then have an annual report that's released that sort of people can have a look at, but then also sponsor, in a sense that it can be used to satisfy a lot of corporate reporting mechanisms as well. When we start to look at environmental social governance reporting and corporate social responsibility and some of those other obligations that corporates have, looking at ways that we might be able to use this for this particular piece of work to help satisfy some of that and build in some industry buy-in as well.
And I think with, if I can just add in there, the real, for us at the moment, we collect a lot of data, a lot of people do, and we don't necessarily have a place to store it. A lot of it's on our spreadsheets and on our SharePoint, but we want to make it visible. And a lot of the citizen science work we're doing, as I said, currently sits on a lot of our systems. We wanted something that we could present back to the community. Some of the problems we're trying to resolve are things like, we know our council at the moment have limited resource. They do their minimal regulatory monitoring and sampling. We have an enormous community here who are super keen to get involved. Citizen science is such a great way to get people engaged, connected to place, but also fill some of those gaps if the citizen science is robust enough. We've been in talks with Otago Regional Council. I'm constantly nagging them about utilising our community, and they have a policy going to councillors in February around citizen science and how they actually can start using it. One of the problems they have legally is that as soon as it becomes in their hands, they have to act on it. So they're quite reluctant, but they definitely see the the power of it. So we are looking at how we can actually use this dashboard or this health card to actually help with that. So as I said, there's limited data. The lakes are declining. So this is around how do we raise the awareness of what's going on with the lakes. There's a lack of proven methodology. Ben's been working on a stormwater protocol, which is probably the first of its kind in terms of citizen science. So we're hoping to have that peer reviewed. And then we're also wanting, a solution for an enduring solution that the community can take hold of and use going forward. So that data that gets collected, we can use it to take action, find out where the issues are, and put some interventions in place and be able to report on that. So yeah, that's where we're at with the dashboard, but we're looking for a funder now, so to do the next part. So the software, the concept itself is there. It's how do we take it to the next level.
All right, so then fast forward to today, we're just putting together another impact report, and you can see that we've got more measures, many more measures. Obviously, a lot still rely on qualitative measures, but we are again combining that with the quantitative and the harder measures. And then that really leads into that final slide, Ben, which is about the data management. So, we're swamped with data. We've been trying to collect and keep data. Kat just touched on it. There's a great interest in combining what we collect as a community with the very limited data, water quality data, for example, that Otago Regional Council collects. But they're a bit reluctant to touch it because they have to act on it. So we are talking to them, and data is key. Data, if you want to, you can't manage what you don't measure. So for us to understand what's happening with the lake, which is a long, slow process, and also, of course, any improvement is a long, slow process. So that's, you need a lot of data, and you need to have people who can interpret the data. And so I'll hand over to Ben again on that one.
Can I just add, I think one of the other things we talk about the data and scientific data, but there's also the behaviour change data and how you can capture that sort of thing. And especially with that, things like our skills program, we can only really touch 100, not touch, that's the wrong word, engage with, 1,900 students each year, because that's just the number of students we have in the region or our area. But what we're seeing now is that our program, for example, our Adopt a Drain and our Drains and Streams program, we start off with the daycares and the kindy kids, and then we go through to the schools, the primary school, and then we're seeing it now in our high school students. So we're hearing some of those kindy students, and we're seeing them at the primary schools, and we're hearing them talk about what they learnt at daycare and how they're bringing that through their schooling. So we had a wearable arts show on Friday, and some of the year fours made themselves a drain and had tuna and all sorts of stuff coming through. So it's just really cool to see that sort of stuff coming through, where we're seeing that they're actually that impact of that sort of engagement and education. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, and I guess there's this piece that Julie's spoken to around the data management and things like that, and I guess there's sort of two ways in which data and this kind of environmental data and reporting can work, right? And there's a sense of helping it satisfy some of these kind of regulatory approaches with the council and things like that, and being able to inform some of their monitoring programs from that, from that regulatory point of view. But then there's a whole other aspect there around how you can engage with industry and with the community and some of those other businesses and the likes that are in the region. And that's sort of less from a compliance side of the discussion. It's more from the voluntary side, where these organizations can actually start to see that supporting work and supporting groups such as WAI Wanaka and others, and supporting pro-environmental activity has quite an advantageous flow-on effect to their shareholders and to their business model in a sense. And so we're looking at ways that we can kind of package these up to help that conversation go, so that it puts WAI Wanaka in a bit more of a favourable position, in the sense of, hey, we have ourselves organised, we have these reports and all of this environmental work that we've been doing. We have all of these data points and trends that we've been capturing over the last 8 years of our operation. Here's a piece of work that we have that you can use to satisfy some of your reporting mechanisms, and actually have a bit more of an impact on your bottom line in that sense. And so really looking at ways that we can sort of obviously help feed into this compliance and regulatory side of things, but then keep the door open for these conversations going forward, which at the end of the day sort of help you have more favourable conversations around funding and partnerships and things like that as well. So that's sort of where we're sitting and where we're looking to sort of use our data from both of those two angles there. And that's the last of the slides here. Julie, do you have anything more that you want to touch on?
No, just happy to open it up to everybody else, either questions or your own experiences, whichever however you want to go forward here, George.
That's so cool. I really love it. How are you going with funders? Like, where are you looking at the moment for that?
I think if you look at our funding streams, we've had to pivot pretty hard. We're at the last of our Jobs for Nature funding. We had Jobs for Nature funding for 3 years, and then we got an extension funding for another 3 years, specifically with farmers. So that finishes in June next year. This year we're looking okay. Next year's there's a big old gap. So we are having to really look at how we pivot and look at different funding mechanisms, and it has been mentioned. I think, for example, the catchment line monitoring tool we're putting out to a local trust who's really interested in this piece of work. So we're having to, obviously we need to keep the lights on, but we also need these bigger projects, long-term projects, enduring projects that the funders are really interested in. We've got an amazing fundraiser who's come to us from the UK, who is just phenomenal. She's reaching out she's just connected with a guy called Andrew Tischler, who's an American artist who's just moved to New Zealand. And he's super keen he loves what we do. He's a landscape artist, and he's really keen to connect us with his buyers, etc. He wants to paint these beautiful photos or pictures for us to then be able to sell on, and we get the funds. So looking at different mechanisms, we're still going, obviously our grants, still going hard out for grants, still really tricky. As you know, everyone's in the same boat. Julie, you got anything else?
I think another interesting one is our catchment group work and our urban catchment groups, and we've had several sort of larger urban catchment groups as well as our adopt a drain groups, but the larger catchment groups have actually put their own money into things like rabbit fencing and planting, and sure, it's a bit NIMBYism, they're beautifying, the pathways that are adjoining their own properties. But actually, as a result of that, we've managed to connect with people in our community who, are wealthy, but also care about the environment. And we've sort of had, again, through this fundraiser, Millie, that we've got in our team, we've had our first success there with, a community member actually stumping up with a reasonable donation to say, and it's going to be an annual donation, to say thank you very much for everything you're doing. The benefit there, of course, is that those people talk to their friends and spread the word, and it's philanthropy in Wanaka is quite a quiet thing. Queenstown people, I always find, love to talk about what they fund and how wealthy they are and who they give their money to. Whereas Wanaka, it's we know we're a wealthy community, but it's a lot quieter. So having these networks beavering away that are supportive of what we are doing, and we are upskilling them and why we're doing what we're doing and what's important. And I think that longer term, that's going to be that base level, the Blind Foundation, the Heart Foundation, all of those who get those regular donations year in, year out, that's the gold. Ultimately, it's not the gold today, but it's the gold in 10 or 20 years time.
And do you think the dashboard do you think the dashboard's really helped with some of those like local donations, the visibility of what you're doing and why?
I think the events help more. I think the activities help more with that raising awareness. Yeah. They've got to be pretty interested to get onto the dashboard.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it was a pilot, and I think if we get some funding to get it going again, which we're hoping to get, we're going to. I think what we've got in the past, and I don't know what other groups, how the other groups feel, but it's been a really tricky space to go and ask for money, and especially if they don't know who you are. And so one of my KPIs was our new chair wanted me to every second person in Wanaka to know who WAI Wanaka was, and that was in 12 months, and I was like, okay. So we've for the first time ever invested in marketing, which is a whole new world to me. And we've got an amazing girl, Danny, who comes in and helps us, and she's really turned things around for us in the local community especially. So I think that has been quite a game changer in terms of people getting to know us, and also our events as well. We spend a lot of time out in the community, very community facing. So a lot of people at the moment know that we run beach cleanups and we do microplastics testing and get your feet workshops and all that sort of stuff, which is our outward facing stuff. But what we really want them to know is all the other sort of really deep work that we're doing, especially around science and research, which we haven't been as good at marketing. So that's the next stage. It's that awareness piece, and then getting down to actually what is at the core of what we do. How do we get that out so people understand what we do? It's not an easy thing, as I'm learning, but yeah, I think that investment in marketing has been a real game changer for us. And we're very lucky to have had that budget, but we had to work hard for it with the board. But I think it's paying off.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and I'd add to that too, sorry, George, just to say that philanthropy wants to fund impact. So if you can build impact into your storytelling, then that's a pathway to getting that philanthropic support.
So interesting. I could keep talking about that for ages and ask lots of questions. Do other people have questions? Or would you like, Georgie? Just very excited.
Just on the funding point, are you guys aware of Fund Sorter? Have we talked about Fund Sorter at EHA?
No.
Yes, some people are.
Yeah.
I don't know if people have got a subscription to Fund Sorter, but we do. So if you want to write a short blurb about your project, we can put it through our Fund Sorter subscription and send you what they say. So Fund Sorter is a sort of a matcher of your project. You just write a little blurb about who you are and what your project is, and then through the magic of AI and a whole lot of other things, Fund Sorter comes up with a whole lot of funds that could potentially support your project. And I've worked in philanthropy and I've been applying for funding for a long time, and it even suggests groups that I hadn't known about or thought about or considered. So it is a useful mechanism. You can subscribe to it yourself. It's about $120 a month, I think.
I think we have actually got it.
Oh, you've got it?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
Oh, we're sorted.
Thank you. No, right.
But if others, I don't want to be inundated, but if others are specifically looking for something, I can put it through, and help one a week.
I'll take you up on that for EHA itself, Georgie, because I have looked at the free version for EHA, but we haven't got the funds to subscribe. But
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I can do it for EHA.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Georgie. That's awesome.
I actually haven't been successful with any money coming through Fund Sorter yet, but I've applied for several things. So yeah. Oh, $35 a month for the cheapest offer. There you go. Thanks, George.
Yeah, and then it heads up to like 50 for tier 3, 125 for tier 2.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's why we're paying too much.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to think about, would anyone else like to share very quickly what they do, or put anything in the chat? Would anyone really like to share after being inspired by that, but probably something quite different because you're all very different? We could do it. How about, what I might do is maybe get in touch if you've got, because I think what's beautiful about that is it works really well in Wanaka. And there will be other environment hubs who are doing impact in a very different way, and it would still be really great to hear from you. So maybe even if you don't, just maybe get in touch with me, that'd be great. But what we might do in the last couple of remaining minutes is think about what you would like to talk about next time. We could do another one of these if we want to continue to see how other people are collecting data and look at something slightly different. But I'm just going back to the agenda, and I will just put into the chat the shared topic list, and I'd be interested to hear what you're keen to see out of those. I have just added sustainable finance options, which is always popular, at the bottom. Evaluation / behavior change is on the revenue and fundraising. Maybe pop in the chat which ones you're keen to, what you'd really like to put at the top. Otherwise, we will pick one and organize, and I will go to Mike.
Thanks, George. I just had a question, actually. I was curious to know, like, out of all that data collection and presentation and what of all of those are the most effective at increasing the conversation, getting context to react, or leading to other contracts, or work on the ground? Just curious to see how those reporting measures translate to action or opportunity for action.
I think in particularly in freshwater science, there's a lot of latency between things happening outside of the water and how that impacts the water, and likewise with when you're doing some testing and things like that, it does not change a lot during the year. It fluctuates with seasons and things like that, but ultimately there is a latency between these things. And so there's a balancing act between taking too much and then taking too little, right? So you've got to be quite specific around where we are choosing to do our testing and why and when. And so I think helping people understand some of these trends from a practical point of view is quite useful, because we have a community here that's still of the opinion that the water is still very, very clean, and when we look at it at a national level, it is still ecologically pristine to a lot of the other regions and freshwater systems in the country. And so what we've really tried to do is to position our data in a regional context, and actually, rather than, whilst we need to still measure it against national objective frameworks, often you can't quite capture those nuances or those smaller kind of trends. And so really being able to focus on those really, really regionally specific context and indicators helps people understand how these things are changing from a regional context, as opposed to positioning it in the broader national context. And so we've been working really, really hard with landowners and things to help explain, for example, the environmental DNA results that we get. That's a really, really nice one to engage people, and because it gives them a sense of what's here and what's not here, and it's like something quite tangible that they can really get a sense of, as opposed to say some of the more complex chemical analyses of water and things like that. There's slightly different there's different ways to connect with different people in the community, I think, and being able to communicate that in a visual way, but in a simplistic way, helps people engage a bit more.
And I think with the we have a lot of data, and we've actually had to try and actually pull back a lot. We went through it all. It was like, what are we actually using this for? Because there's no point in collecting data for data's sake. So we've actually scrapped a whole heap of data that we were collecting because we weren't doing anything with it. It was nice to have. So we really tried to hone in. But I think one of the big things that people, especially funders, are interested in is collaboration, and seeing the number of community groups and the schools, especially around the engagement with the students, but that collaboration across our community, councils, other community groups, schools, etc. That's where, especially philanthropic, want to see. That's the sort of conversations that it's striking out. Oh, you're working with so and so, and it's that, yeah, working. You're all working towards, a lot of them working towards the same sort of goals. So how can we do that together more impactfully? So I think it's definitely those are very much the conversations. People are always interested also around, you know, our beach cleanups and how much litter you're collecting. But what we're trying to push is that it's not just about the litter. That data is then going into a national database, and then that's being used for information to hopefully change policy. So we're really trying to make sure that the data we collect is useful, it's impactful, and it's meaningful. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, and we've spent hours and hours going through. And actually, through the EHA initial reporting, when we first started with the EHA, that really shook us into shape. To actually look at what we were collecting, because it was just incredible. But I think also the qualitative data is really, really important as well, to be able to get those little snippets of conversations from the people we're interacting with on a daily basis. Really helps to sort of hearts and minds to what we do, if that makes sense. Sorry, it's a very long answer.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know if there's any follow-up answers, but I might probably put a line under that. I think that's brilliant. I think you've summed it up really well, and I love how you're making those connections from that kind of behaviour change right through to the policy settings and that big picture. So thank you so much, Ben and Kat and Julie, for that presentation. I do think we could have listened probably for hours, because there's just so much in there. I think you're doing an awesome job, so keep up the mahi, and I hope that you find heaps of funding, and you know, whether it's those billionaires who we hear about moving to Wanaka or however you get it.
We only need one.
We only need one.
have a couple and then share
Yeah,
out.
absolutely.
Yeah. But look, thank you so much. I'm sure everyone has really enjoyed that. We'll be in touch with next topic. There'll be one more of these in December. The year is going far too quickly. But thanks so much for coming on. I've learnt lots from all of you this morning, and that's what it's all about. So enjoy the rest of your Mondays. Have a great week, and I'll close us out with our karakia whakamutunga. Ka whakairia te tapu, kia wā te ai te ara, kia turiki whakataha ai, kia turiki whakataha ai, huia tai kia. Have a lovely day. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.